It's such a bright white screen that it's just it's like lighting me. I'm lit. I'm lit. What's up, Frightful? Hey, boomer, boomer testo. Boomeru testaru. It's a boomeru testaru. Hope you're doing well today, Frightful. Anyone else lurking or hanging out on YouTube, Kick, or Twitch? It's Boomer Tester. I'm gonna try to record this. Try to turn it into a YouTube video. If it's a complete failure, that's fine. That's fine. Just stop doing it. No one's making you. You're not required. Yeah. I'm. You know what? I may have screwed up this recording because I don't know if I turned off that audio channel. We'll find out. I'm not gonna fiddle with it now. I'm not gonna tinker. You can. I believe in you. I believe in you. I really do. Today, though, what I wanted to talk about was Automation Assist. There's an article or a blog post that was published on June 3rd from Paul Grzaffi. I'm going to let Paul Grzaffi explain themselves or promote themselves. Paul Grzaffi is that automation dude, keynote speaker, asker of uncomfortable testing questions, which I appreciate, blogger, writer, and heavy metal aficionado. You can go follow Paul on X or on Blue Sky, or I believe he would be very happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. You can find all that information if you go to his Responsible Automation WordPress. I believe all the links are there. But I've met Paul in person. He's a great guy. X is crazy, bro. I think the biggest miss with X is the idea that if they want to do video, they want to compete, do like video live streaming or YouTube competition. Now it's called X Video or Video X. And that just, you know, X on the internet is pretty much synonymous with the word X on the internet is synonymous with adult content. So they need to figure something out. I do miss Periscope. Like, Periscope was such a cool thing. The idea that you could like embed your stream into a tweet was such a nice thing when I was live streaming before with the band, with our music. It was so nice to embed that stream. People knew you were live, and a lot of time they would just click through to wherever you were actually live. But someone could be scrolling your feed and it was right there and it was free. You didn't have to pay no monies. Now you gotta pay the monies. And of course, now that I'm starting to stream, I'm losing my voice. My voice was totally fine. I was in several meetings before this. My voice was fine. Once I start streaming, voice go bye-bye. So yeah, editor Marcus is probably going to cut. If this even becomes a YouTube video, which it probably is not. But I'll be positive. Because I think the content, this particular topic, in fact, is very worthwhile to talk about. It's something that's often overlooked in software testing. Or maybe we could say it's a concept that is overlooked. People often value other aspects of test automation. I edit a Marcus if this does become a video. I'm going to end up going to the scene where they can't see you. Plus the browser just needs to be bigger. Because right now it's text for ants. Now let's hop over here. You can actually see the article now. So yeah, this is an article or blog post. I need to quit calling it an article. It's a blog post. In fact, let's change the zoom a little bit here. Oh, you know what? The way this is done, we got the chat. Weed. I can weed it. I'll do this. Boop. There we go. Now we can blow this up as much as we want, and chat doesn't get in the way. But this was on June 3rd, blog post from Paul Grzaffi. You can go to responsibleautomation.wordpress.com to read his other blog posts. Let's go through this. The whole concept here is automation assist. It's something that Paul's written about before. And I think, again, it is something worthwhile to talk about, and an often missed aspect of software testing or automation, or you could even say like engineering productivity. This idea that you're not just someone, who writes automated tests. June 3rd, that was Delta Wound Tomorrow Day. Let's get into this. I'll keep getting distracted. Frightful, you're such a distraction. Paul starts with, hello, it's been a long time since I've rock and rolled. I mean, written. And it is true, it's been a little while since Paul's put out a blog post, but it's worthwhile to wait. For the past few months, I've been mostly heads down, working for multiple clients, helping to deliver quality software, both as a strategist and a practitioner. I've had some interesting challenges to solve, and I'd like to share how we've helped solve one of them. For a bit of historical context, I've written previously about what I call automation assist. I've also written about my first professional software creation way back in the early 90s. Wasn't that far, wasn't that long ago. I know I'm a distraction. I didn't know it at the time, but it was my first introduction to automation assist. And this article is short enough where we can kind of shoot through this one too, because I think it's worthwhile to get the context. So in Paul's other article from July 19th, 2021, that he references in his current blog post, his blog post from July 19th, 2021, he's referencing in his current blog post. He says, I accidentally started my career creating tools for testers. We're getting to what automation assist is. Right out of grad school, I was hired by a telecom company. They wanted someone who had experience with C++ and parser development. I wanted a job that matched my skills, so this was a good fit. Didn't realize it at the time, but I'd just been hired into a test automation team. That happens. It happens where you get hired for one thing and you end up doing basically test automation. This is not uncommon. It's happened to me actually in my first job just out of college. Our team wasn't called a test automation team per se. We were called a test tools team. Eventually, we started creating tools to help developers with testing, as thus we were renamed a tools team. As a side note, there were politics involved as well. I know, weird, right? Very surprising. Not really. There's always some sort of politics about the teams, about roles. All right, thanks for stopping by, Frightful. Enjoy your eating time. It was good to see you. Thinking back to those before times, it dawns on me that some of what we created was used for non-traditional automation. For example, one of these tools allowed us to send and receive telephony protocol messages. This does show its age, the 90s. We could even generate test scripts that could be executed as traditional test script-based automation. As a reference point, you can think of this specific application as a very early telephony-specific API testing tool, similar to the ones we have today. This was rather early in my career, so I didn't think about traditional versus non-traditional automation. That's right. Paul, at that time, didn't have the preconceived notions that get baked in. It's sort of like you're innocent, and so you're just trying to solve problems. I remember this during my first two jobs as well. I didn't realize that they were guardrails or they were boundaries, and I just wanted to help solve problems. Very similarly, I learned Star Basic for a job just to solve some problems where we had some Excel sheets that we were being given by the county, and we had to take those and they had to be a certain format to go into our platform. And I wasn't thinking about whether this was a testing task or not. I was like, I just need these sheets to be correct. So I created a Star Basic script that would take the sheet and check all the columns and reformat it, because the different little interns that the county had would not fit our specification all the time. And so I had to make sure before I dropped these and had our platform parse these Excel sheets that they were in the correct format. So Paul says, to me, it was all just tools of some type or other, and I just wanted to help people get their jobs done. Oh, and write code. I wanted to write lots and lots of code, but I digress. I didn't want to write code as much as I just wanted to solve the problems. I wasn't in love with writing code just yet. I'd enjoyed it in school, but I don't think I'd really gotten hooked on it. I didn't have that magic. I was just trying to solve problems. When I talk about traditional test automation, I'm referring to what the industry simply calls test automation. Automation derived from test cases that we usually turn into test scripts using some tool. Right, there's Rails there, right? This idea, it's like, that's what test automation is. It's writing automated tests using Selenium WebDriver, now Cypress, now Playwright, or whatever the tools. Rest assured, you're writing automated tests. That's what automated testing is. That is, however, only one implementation of automation. At the risk of hubris for quoting my own blog posts, so we're like having big time blog post inception. A broader definition of automation gives us a wide range of opportunities with which to provide value in our own testing organizations. Right? Agree. The broad definition allows us to think of automation less in terms of test cases and test scripts, and more in terms of applying technology to help testers do their jobs, and I also believe in turn provide information to stakeholders. This is my editorialization. Instead of the narrower concept of traditional test automation, we can think of providing help or assisting testers. This gives us the concept of automation assist. This is also a concept, if you read How Google Tests, is this concept that instead of testing being in this very contained box, it's more about providing resources or almost consulting with the rest of the org on software quality, on software risk. And again, being more of someone who provides tools and information and less someone that is like a checker, someone that just goes and clicks on things and then writes lots of test scripts. It's kind of, there's a higher level value. And the other reason I thought that this was all very relevant is with the advent of Gen AI assisting testers, I think this whole concept becomes further more relevant, because the traditional guardrails box of what automated testing or even just a software tester is really isn't going to work with the advent of generative AI. As it further proliferates, becomes even more ubiquitous, it's just not realistic. It's not realistic at all. Automation assist is just that. Automation that assists humans, who in our case are testers, less focused on replacing human execution of tests and more focused on replacing human execution of tasks for which computers are better suited. You could change the word computers now to Gen AI. I could see this happening so clearly and see the correlation here. And I'm not even sure if Paul realized that he could have just lumped generative AI in with this. It's a term that Moscono, I'm going to pronounce that incorrectly, but Moscono is my best guess, and I coined during our time at an e-com company. One way to think of automation assist is automated crank turning. Serendipitously, to me at least, automation assist has commonalities with facets of high volume automated testing, or HIVAT, which I'm not aware of. We could cover another day. That's another show. Exactly. We could cover this another day. Some examples of automation assist that my teams have created over the years. Aforementioned protocol message app, Random Clicker. That's kind of like Chaos Monkey on Netflix, but these apps randomly click web page clickables, looking for things that are weird outside the specified heuristics. Reports are created for testers to evaluate after execution. Testers decide if there's an issue or not. Yeah, very much Chaos Monkey, right? This idea that it's just going to click around and do weird things, or almost like it's semi-automated exploratory testing. It's going to give you some information. Again, Paul's very focused on providing information and letting stakeholders make decisions. And that's what generative AI is doing for us and continue to do for us. And we act as the oracles. We determine if the data is useful. You don't blindly accept it. Account Creator. This app creates accounts in pre-production environments, reducing the opportunity cost for testers. I feel like there's always a good opportunity to create a simple either command line or UI interface for generating test data for manual testers or automated testers. Can't underestimate how helpful and useful that can be. Context-sensitive value replacer. Take hundreds of files and replace specific values, but only specific subsections of the file. Handling deep nested context sensitivity is something that computers are good at. Yes. Humans are not. No, that sounds miserable. And that's similar to my Star Basic script that modified the XML files we were getting from the county interns, right? I could have sat and hand modified those Excel files, or we could have gone back to the interns and asked them to redo them, but it wasn't always feasible. There'd be a different intern and they had limited time. So it's just simpler for me to write something that computers are good at, like scripting is good at. Go crawl, because sometimes some of these Excel files could have thousands and thousands of values. And so for me to go through by hand and do that, or even to ask the intern to redo it, just wasn't an efficient use of time. It was easier to say, I can have something crawl these columns, check them, they should be in a certain place, and if they're not, move them, right? Or reformat them if their format's not correct. It was just kind of as simple as that, just going through, and if the column title wasn't correct, we'd change that and move that. There was a lot of intelligence in that. Again, this reduced the opportunity costs for the testers, but also took significantly less time and less effort to perform. Each of these tools provided some value to a testing team, even though none of these tools were based on test cases. Exactly. That's what Automation Assist is, and that's what I don't want people with the role of quality assurance or testers to underestimate the value of. That's why I wanted to talk about this today. I think there's a lot more value there, and I don't see a lot of teams doing it when I'm brought in. That's something that I try to advocate for, is this idea that you can provide a consulting service, provide good tools to help with testing, not necessarily just write lots of automated scripts or write lots of test cases. How can you make test case writing easier? Maybe you write a simple interface. Maybe you have .md files, which I'm a huge anyone that watches anything either on any of my channels or content knows I'm such a big fan of MD files, and I want to do either a video and or a live stream about show how you can manage your test cases in an awesome, searchable, taggable way without going through any proprietary tools. And it's something you own. You can put it in a private repo, you can put it in a public repo if you need to, whatever you need to do. And you don't have to rely on, and you can on any type of proprietary. You can have simple execution and you can keep track of history, and it's all you get to use it through source control, through Git. Come to think of it, my first semi-professional application was essentially an Automation Assist application. Previously set the Wayback Machine and wrote of my time at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, hence the reason for reusing Wayback in the post title. While there, the application I created as my major project was for helping diagnose issues with rotary equipment. Notice I didn't say for diagnosing because the application didn't diagnose. The application assisted humans in narrowing down the area and the equipment that the problem likely occurred, but it was up to those humans to actually find the issue. I had no idea at the time that this was an Automation Assist application. Sometimes you find parallels in unexpected places. Yes. Are you writing something? I think the other beauty about this that you have to consider is this idea you can create these narrowly scoped tools that can then be leveraged by other things. A really good example of this might be that platform for creating users, like test users. You could write that in a way where it is a package or a library that maybe gets used by a UI. So maybe it's a very simple RESTful API that goes and creates users for you based on requests. You write a simple UI for people to use, but also you go to write automated tests, have those automated tests leverage that same package. So you can always repurpose these things. And maybe, again, the UI is sort of just separated or disconnected. So you could think of that again as these little pieces of value or functionality that you can provide to help a team, whether it's a dev team, whether it's a support team or whatever, solve problems in regards to the gray areas around testing or even the core areas around testing. How can you provide something that is helpful to a team if it's a tool of some kind. It doesn't have to just be automated tests, but it can then assist your automated tests even, or just your manual testing or your exploratory testing, whatever, or even performance testing. Don't be locked inside a box. So returning to the subjects of automation testing, the designation of a specific implementation of test automation as traditional or non-traditional is not the point here. Certainly there will be tools that straddle that line in those gray areas. Having new terminology to describe new concepts, however, can be helpful, taking advantage of the broader definition of automation. Okay, let's go back. Now we have a little more context. The rest of this article, or the rest of this blog post, is going to get at. So fast forward to 2025. I once again had the chance to make testing more effective, more efficient, which I love. Probably why we all do this when it comes to software testing. The reason we're automation engineers, quality assurance engineers, because we love that idea of taking something that's really painful for a dev team or testing team or an org or a company and making it less painful. Or effective or efficient. I was working with a client who needed to add a Spanish version of their website to their offerings. How the heck do we automate the testing of that? That is a big challenge. We don't. What we do is we help the testers be, I mentioned above, more effective or efficient. Bluntly, I wanted automation to help them do their jobs, not replace them. In this case, them was me. So he didn't want to replace himself, he wanted to assist himself. So what did we do? Based on the inspiration of my friend and colleague Bill Ross, I created a program to filter out obvious misses so that the testers would not waste their time on stuff that we already knew was broken. What was an obvious miss? A DOM element on the English site that had the same text on the Spanish site. Just doing a diff. If we had the English site, right, you could then change the site over to Spanish and then just do diffs. And if they're the same, boom, that's a likely no-no. I classified that as untranslated and then therefore a likely error. Nice. The main algorithm was for each URL in the sitemap, snag all the elements, use the web pages feature to switch to the Spanish site, snag all the elements on the now Spanish site, compare the number of elements on each English page to the number of elements on the corresponding Spanish page. If they are different, report a discrepancy based on the implementation expectations. Translation should be 1-for-1, meaning regardless of content, the DOM's element structure must be the same. I'm already saying how this could go wrong because there are some assumptions there that can lead you to problems. But that's common, right? We iterate. But I could definitely see that. I'll drop this down a little bit. I'm already just like spidey senses with this, right? I've seen this so many times. If the above succeeds, we know that we have the same number of elements on each page. Next, we iterate through both lists of elements. So you're doing like some sort of hash mapping thing where you're going to iterate through and you're going to diff them. If the text in any element from the English element matches the text for a corresponding Spanish element, the text in that element was probably not translated, so we flag that as a discrepancy. The end of the execution was not pass or fail, it was did the script find anything that was not expected. Right. You're returning information. This was awesome for the first phase of the translation. Uh-oh. A base assumption failed, or was changed, or was misunderstood, or was never true. We thought we knew this was true, right? That often happens. Like, we're pretty certain that this is the truth, and we're going to then do our testing or our research based on this idea, and then it's a hypothesis, and the hypothesis ends up being wrong. We have to change our approach. When I started the implementation, I was told that the DOM for the English site with respect to element hierarchy would be the same for each translated page, meaning that if the number of elements didn't match, that was an automatic issue. That assumption did not hold. This kind of thing happens more than any of us would like, right? Always check your assumptions. It looks like, Paul's got another blog post you might be able to talk about, because assumptions are a big reason we have issues with testing. There's a great Automation Guild session that was about this from this past year, and the name of the speaker is escaping me at the moment. and it's technically behind a paywall. So I don't want to give away any of the secrets out from that. But there is this idea that we go in interacting with a site and testing a site in a way that isn't the way that most people actually interact with websites and apps. And they're not built in a way that most people interact, which is in a synchronous manner. There's this void between, or maybe void's not the right word. There's a conflict or a friction between how our tests interact with software, how people interact with software, and then how the software itself is built and how it functions in the back. Usually now with modern development asynchronously with multiple threads, where most of the time that does not match the way that people use it and the way we test it. There's some, and that causes some flakiness. It causes some bad misconceptions that lead us to do things that can be anti-patterns or counterproductive. So we had a choice: continue without any automation. This was not a good idea because of the volume of pages on the website. I agree. Evolve the automation to handle the DOM variations. This was also not a good idea because of the complexity and cost of implementing the solution. This may not even be a workable solution, right? You may dump endless hours into something that's now going to be fragile and flaky. You're having to constantly change it, constantly having a signal noise that causes automation to not be trustworthy or reliable. That fast, reliable, generally consistent feedback. You're always going to have those issues, but it's really easy to look at a problem and not think about the aspects of, say, maintaining tests, how flaky they are, how often are they going to need to change, because the dirty secret is that tests wear out over time. They become less effective. I believe it's the pesticide paradox, if I remember. This is this idea that is that not the right one I'm thinking of? Essentially, this idea that almost like the system becomes more resilient. Those tests are less effective over time. Just like with any pests, they become resilient to whatever pesticide you're using because they adapt to it, or the next generation of those pests are more resilient. It's an adaptation, right? So you may run a test suite with a certain number of tests, and oh man, we're finding all these great defects, and we fix them, and we maybe modify our tests and add more regressions. But then the more times you run those tests, they'll keep finding less and less defects and issues, and eventually maybe none. And so there's this idea now the system is resilient to that type, and that type of again, pesticide, and you may need to adapt and change your approach because now it's not giving you the thing you need, which you're trying to uncover those issues, find those clusters of defects and bugs, and it's just not getting that anymore. Let's see. So we already talked about the second point, which is evolve automation to handle the DOM, and that this is one often where people will force this through. I've seen teams force this through because there's this idea of automate all the things, but again, not thinking about the consequence of that or the long-term cost of maintaining all those tests. Having fast, reliable, useful tests, even if it's a small subset and then the rest is manual, just so much more valuable than having a giant suite that you have to constantly investigate, and then the dev team starts to ignore, and they're nowhere near brave enough to make it block like a deployment because you can't trust them. You have to be able to trust the signal. You have to be able to trust the output. The last one, continue with the automation basically as is. We decided this was the most appropriate solution because only minimal code changes were required. I think it was a great, this isn't very common though, but I think that was the right choice. We still obtained some value from the automation, just not as much as we expected. Still seems like it's a little hot. Music's like rocking my face off. Of course, there always, as there always are, there were downsides to this, basically as is approach. We received what I'm calling repeated failures. Failures that are either a re-report of previously reported failures or failures that are reported due to previously discovered failures. So it's like that domino effect. As an analogy, it's similar to compile errors that are only reported due to previous report errors. For example, missed a semicolon. Many errors shall be reported. It's the nature of the parsing. Despite this noise, did it provide value? This team, it did. It's great. Also, using this approach, the results are inconclusive. We can only count on the automation to tell us, did the checks... Oh, that's a hard word. It gregariously fail, or did they not? In the parlance of testing QA, we didn't have a pass or fail report. We had a good or not good report. Okay, so like kind of a red, green, orange, or red, red, orange, green situation. We had good or not good. All other information had to be gleaned from the report and distilled by the tester. In this case, it was Paul. This is again where generative AI is going. There's going to need to be an oracle for what Gen AI generates, whether it's defects, whether it's test cases, whether it's automated tests or reports. There needs to be an oracle to parse and make sense of what's generated. So you're not losing your job. You just need to learn how to leverage and properly implement and fine-tune generative AI. Get good at prompting. You can't have a prompting skill issue. Get good at prompting, get good at interpreting other people's code, because you're going to have someone generating a lot of code for you likely, and you're going to need to have the capability of parsing and understanding that code. And the beauty is, though, you can use generative AI to help you teach the code it generates. You can stop, slow down, and ask. I don't understand this implementation. Help me understand, and please give me sources. And then you can go and read and understand and learn alongside these implementations and grow as someone who needs to interpret code, needs to interpret test cases or user requirements or whatever. Is that a problem? I don't think it is, and I think it's the future. Again, I just think Paul didn't realize he's nailed the head on something deeper here with generative AI. Not necessarily. As much as red, green, pass-fail results can be desirable, sometimes it's not realistic or economical, right? The result of this tool's execution gave us, you have data, right? You have something to look and sift through to determine what's important, what's not. Did it save the team effort? In our case, yes, it did. I had to wade through the results, but it took far less effort than for me to turn the crank to produce the data and then wade through it. To be fair, this implementation is a very weak heuristic. The heuristic was stronger than we thought there was DOM equality, but that said, the heuristic was rather weak to begin with. DOM element in English matches same element in translate DOM, but not in English. There were cases where that was okay, but in other cases, that was an issue. For example, straight addresses were intentionally not translated. Sometimes the automation could recognize that, but not always. Human tester need to filter out what reporting issues, filter that out when reporting issues. Again, in this case, the tester was me. My temptation, though, would be to go in and to tune things a little bit there. Just, again, trying with the goal of getting the signal noise down and focused and narrowed as much as I can, because then you're spending time parsing through that same issue. And in this case, Paul is like the stakeholder and the consumer of this. When it's a dev team and it's in a pipeline, you want to try to really get the signal noise down so they can trust what you're providing them. Because I think in this case, he's fortunate in that he was the one acting as the oracle, or sometimes it's the team or it's the pipeline. And you have to be careful, because then again, it can be a lot of distraction for a dev team to have all this information to parse through. But in his case, it was fine. But I would suggest baking in time, if there's estimates on this as part of a team or whatever, bake in some time to allow for you to go and tune this. Don't assume you're just going to run it and parse it all the time and do other things. I would leave room in to make sure that you can go and tune this. That's something I would want to tune out. Like, okay, if we see an address, maybe a regex or something, just if we see address, we're going to ignore it. And that's where, as painful as regexes are to write, you can have generative AI help you write them. They can be worthwhile, because then you're not looking for specific data, you're looking for data patterns. And that's the case where you can kind of filter things out. Again, maybe like an email address. That'd probably be another thing I'd be like, ignore. We're not going to translate an email address. It needs to be sort of those things like URLs, addresses. I'm already thinking of this like a tester or an automation engineer, is I would parse out some of those things that aren't going to be translated and probably use regexes to do it. Phone numbers. Yeah, I mean, you name it. There's probably a handful of things. Yeah, addresses, URLs, emails, phone numbers. I'm trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. But yeah, that's kind of where I would start to go and tune and keep tuning that. And those are things you're going to be able to iterate upon. So re-enter the automation assist aspect of test automation. This is a great example of what I've been calling automation assist. Non-test case based mechanization of part of our jobs that we can trust and makes us more effective or more efficient. Remember, automation is not an all or nothing endeavor. If it provides value and helps us do our job, it's probably worth it, right? I agree. And again, you can go follow Paul. Looks like this is actually share buttons, but you can go follow Paul on X, Blue Sky, LinkedIn. I just wanted to talk about this topic because I felt like it was very important. If you're watching this later on YouTube or any other platform, well, YouTube's probably the most I did, but if you're watching this later on YouTube, please leave a comment. Let me know if you have experiences with Automation Assist or you have questions. I really feel like the big thing is just don't have these boundaries in mind. Don't feel restricted. Obviously, you're restricted in time and materials. If you only have so much time to do things and you've been tasked with a specific mission or objective, you've got to follow that too. But what I want to encourage is that think outside the box a little bit. Think about ways that you can help that aren't always just write lots of automated tests. And you provide a good framework. It's getting out of that mindset of I'm a checker and I'm going to go check things and I'm either going to automate that or I'm going to manually go do it. There's more value you are capable of providing to the team. And with generative AI, there's so much more opportunity here. Like there's tons more opportunity that you have now to provide that kind of value to your dev team, and don't underestimate that. And those sorts of things are going to give you more job security and give you opportunities to learn new skills. Maybe writing a simple UI that allows you to create test data. Again, that's something maybe you've never written a UI web app, or maybe you've never written a RESTful service and then had a UI consume that RESTful service. With the advent of generative AI, that's even easier than ever. And then it may give you an opportunity to work with your DevOps team. Maybe you haven't had that opportunity yet. So now you can go and say, hey, I have this really simple API service and UI that I need to be reachable only within our VPN or our firewall. It's an internal tool, and maybe then you get to work with security too, because they may need to look and make sure it's a secure app, right? Things like that. It's an opportunity to work across teams. It's an opportunity to break out of your silo a little bit and build things that are maybe more engaging. If you're starting to get bored with just being a checker, there's more for you to do than be a checker. You can do automation assist. In that concept too, this idea that it's okay. It's okay to aim for the thing that makes the most sense. Like in their case, they could have rewritten the entire framework and they didn't. I think that was very wise of Paul. You're not going to see that kind of maturity all the time. That's why I wanted to highlight this. It's a lot easier to just say, well, we'll just rewrite the whole framework and to make it fit this use case, and then not think about the long-term consequences of that and the long-term maintenance and long-term fragility and the inevitable thing that almost always happens where it gets deprecated and it's not trusted by your dev team anymore. And you don't want that. You want the team to trust what you're providing, and you want them to trust the results. Because if they don't trust the results, you're sort of defeating the whole purpose of why you're doing it. Especially if you're trying to do like acceptance, specifically like build acceptance. Going back to BDD the other day, which that video was a nightmare because for various and vast reasons, and one being audio problems. I'm still trying to figure out. But yeah, if you found this useful, you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below. Please hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all that stuff. If you're on other platforms watching this for some reason, then you are a dedicated person, because I assume that no one on Twitch or Kick is going to just watch a random video about test automation. I feel like that's more likely on YouTube, but yeah, appreciate you if you are. Let's move on to other things. I'm going to stop recording. There we go. We've got like 20 minutes left. We could do some more game dev. I just won't change the titles. I don't know. Or I could change the titles. I don't know, because I'm working on my Flappy Bird clone, which is the Flapeagen. I think that's what I call it, the Flapeagen, or the Prime. What was I wanting to call it? Let's see here. Should I go through the work of changing all my titles? It takes about, I've got like 20 minutes left. I don't know. I'm always conflicted. Let's see, we'll go to... First we'll get Godot. We'll get the Godot. Hold on here. Let's get Godot. We'll get Godot going. Godot. I get a little of the Godot. To offend anyone, I'm gonna offend everybody. There's a offensive accent. Okay, let's get Godot going here. Okay, and then maybe I'll change the titles. I don't know. I may just not change titles at all. I'm lazy. Oh, the Flapeagen. Okay, the Flapeagen. And I made my first SVG, which I was really, proud of myself. Let's see, we'll go to... Yep, we got the Flapeagen. So, I guess we could go change our titles. Let me double check work stuff, though. Really quick. And of course, as usual, I have allergies. I should just take an allergy pill. Oh gosh. Notification. It's a brown bag. I think I'll just keep streaming. I'll keep streaming through. Make sure my wife's not going crazy. And then we'll change titles. Yeah, we can kind of punch through a little bit. Let's go change our titles and stuff. I know a buttload about the gospel and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna change our titles here. Okay. We gotta get the 20 games challenge link and all that jazz, right? Okay, because it's basically our design doc. I'm just updating all the titles. Did I goof that up? Come on, darn it. No, I got it right. Okay. Dang tootin'. And we need, let's see. Gotta do emojis. Grab those. Get all this admin. I really need to find a better way to do this. I'm like shooting myself in the foot here. In the sense that I'm doing it 3 times. It's just such a pain. It is deep hurting. Let's see. Do they have a game dev category, or otherwise it's science? I guess it could technically be gaming, right? We'll leave science and technology. It's not like I'm gonna have a rando come visit me there. And we'll fix the test. All the different stream titles. Yeah, we can leave that. Done those, and then we just need On Kick, we're going to update on Kick there too. On Kick, we're going to update on. Oh no, it's echoing. Hold on. Big no. On Kick, we're going to update on. Oh no, it's echoing. Hold on. Big no. Oh no, it's echoing. Hold on. Big no. Why? Okay, Kick. Why? Why would you open up the audio on the dashboard? Why would you do that? Oh gosh. For realsies. You know, I forgot to push out the Discord. Whoops. Oh well. Okay, so here's the 20 games challenge. Maybe I should maybe I should tell Discord that I'm I should be a good streamer. Because I'm not a good streamer. Oh, my kids are crying. Maybe this is a fruitless endeavor. Yeah, her kid's crying, and that's usually my cue. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to do a BRB and just make sure everyone's okay. I think that's what I'll do really quick. Titles are changed. I'll go to X2 and just change things. Yeah, I'll probably do a BRB just to go check out my kids, and then I'll be right back. The kids have been dealt with. What's up, Onion? Hi, ITZ0FF. Over on YouTube, I'm assuming you're gone. Yeah, it was an extended, like, I almost could have just stopped, restart the stream. Just helping my wife with the kids. Yeah, Merry Friday to you too. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so this this is an extended stream that didn't intend to be extended. My thought was like, oh, I've got an extra like 30 minutes after I finished going through a blog post. I'll do some game dev, and it's like, wait, my kids are screaming. Doing all right? Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. Just normal dad stuff. And just normal supporting my wife stuff, you know. But I'm doing good. I had a good work meeting this morning where it's the best news you can get is there's not enough of you to go around at work, and so we're talking about like how to prioritize my time, or how to basically how my time is being split up and assigned. And again, that's always a good thing at work. It's never a bad thing where it's like there's not enough of you to go around. Always a good thing. Always a good thing. But because you always get nervous, like, what, the VP of engineering wants to talk to me? Am I in trouble? I feel like I'm doing good things. So, well, it's not really a downside, but it's like something like that stressor. Because I was a consultant for 3 years. Like, you don't have that with consulting. Consulting, it's like, oh, well, if I'm doing what's in the SOW, like, the client's happy, you know. And if they want more stuff, then we renegotiate the SOW. For here, it's like when you are an employee again, it's a little more ephemeral, because it was most recently that I was a consultant and then went back to a full-time job for now. And then this is just to blow off steam and tinker with cool stuff. As usual, I have no delusions about where this is gonna go. But yeah, I think we lost ITZ 0FF. He's long gone. But with a little extra time I've got, I was gonna do some game dev. Gonna work on our Flapeagen, Primeagen Flappy Bird clone. We've got good open as well. We could take a quick peek here. Again, we're doing Flappy Bird. Create a game world with the floor, so that's something we gotta think. What's, you know, we want to stay on theme, so what's Primeagen theme? So probably I'm thinking like an IDE or Vim window looking thing. Just still not sure what the pipes are gonna be. I don't know. It could be a stack of exercise balls. I don't know. Or it could be the things that you get, the like collectibles could be bags of terminal coffee. I don't know, I don't want to get bogged down in analysis paralysis here. But essentially, we're going to have this object with gravity applying to it. If it hits the ground, it dies. If it hits the pillars, it dies. Or the pipes or whatever we end up putting in there. I may have fixed my new PC today, so that's cool. Disabled some low power mode called C state from the CPU in the BIOS. And the system has not yet crashed. That's great. Yeah, I've had some goofy problems with BIOS in the past that took some, this is pre-AI days, took some tinkering. Like I purchased a motherboard that said it was compatible with my CPU, and it was. You just needed, to be able to, it needed to boot, to go into the mode to like fix it. And so it's like I had to buy a cheap CPU to put in to then upgrade the BIOS, so then it would recognize my higher end, newer CPU. It was a really bizarre experience. I had to buy some just cheap Intel Celeron. It was back when I was still doing Intel. System was working fine under load, but went into a black screen state under idle that you could not recover from. Yeah, that's terrifying. Ouch. Yeah, motherboards and BIOSes could be sometimes. I love the BIOS on this machine. I'm trying to remember what board it's on, but it's an AMD build as well. And I love the BIOS on this one. It's just so nice. I like just the idea, the advent of graphical BIOS is still, even though it's an old hat now, it's just so nice to be able to like use your mouse. It's like, what wizardry is this? But something we have to think about with the obstacles. Add obstacles to the right of the game area. The obstacles should slide across the screen toward the left. Obstacles will appear in pairs, the vertical gap between them. And then we have to think about how we're going to do this. You could create really long level and hope that the player never gets to the end. No. We're going to need some like random number stuff. It would make more sense if you use code to create obstacles when you need them. The game obstacle pipes will remove off the screen and never be used again. You might delete them once they're useful, or better yet, reuse them by moving them to the right side of the screen once they move off. Yeah, like this idea is like 2 pipes come. Maybe as that pipe's off, the next pipe's gonna basically go back. We'll have to tinker with that. Detect when the character collides with the floor or obstacles and reset the game. So my thought is first, get Prime's head on the screen. Get it where I can control it and apply a force and basically that. Because the movement is all, if we look at actual Flappy Bird, right? Hold on. The beauty of this game is really there's no actual movement except of the character token. Like it's really just kind of bouncing, and the parallax scrolling. It simulates forward movement, because really this is moving, but for controls it's really just bouncing. It's an applied force and it's bouncing. So movement of at least this is like simulated, right? I'm really bad at this game. I want to put some like unhinged wacky stuff in here if I can. And again, I also want to investigate testing. I've never done testing on like a video game before, and I want to also explore how to test this. Let's open up Flapeagen. You're back. Or wait, you're not back. It's just showing at the bottom of chat for some reason. Or is that new? Am I not smart? Yeah, it's not showing in my merged chat, so that's weird. That's weird that it just popped up now. Strange. Very strange. Okay, so we've got like our field of view here in our 2D game. Oh, you are there. Or maybe not. That's weird how it just popped up there. I swear I saw that earlier. Am I time traveling? So I think we can just drop this. Oh wow, the head's gigantic. We definitely don't need it to be that big. Yeah, we're gonna have this essentially starting or suspended here. The big brain, the brain's so big. Again, all the parallax. So what I'm thinking, we just need to get it to kind of drop, and as the player taps something, it nudges it, right? That's what we need. Is like either the screen tap is gonna nudge, and it's gonna sit in about this roughly position, 69. Yeah. He's such a wise guy. He is. He is actually. Prime's really smart, and I think he's a legitimately good human being. I hope, like, the continued fame doesn't corrupt what he is at his core. I hope he can stay humble. I feel like once he did he had DHH on, he had Uncle Bob. I was like, okay. He had Chris Latner from freaking Mojo on, like, in Modular. I started to see the writing on the wall, like, wait a second. I've been following Prime for a while and watching his live streams for quite a while. And it seemed like for a long time he seemed accessible, and now it seems a lot harder. And then the Lex Fridman podcast is like, oh crap. Like, it was really an out-of-body experience. Watching him with Lex Fridman, almost like a glitch in the Matrix. Like, wait a second. Like, this guy's like responded to, like many of us, responded to our chats and like joked and memed with us. And now he's on like one of the biggest podcasts in the world, talking about his engineering journey and addiction, and maybe podcasts are just generally. I don't think they are. I don't know. I worry that this is like he becomes something that he like, that purity is gone. I guess I don't know how else to explain it. It's really hard for me to explain. But it's like this idea that can you keep grounded because you continue to get to this point. Like, oh, and he did a collab with what's it, Kazam or forget the dude's name, but yeah, I mean, you have DHH, Uncle Bob, Chris Latner, and then you go on Lex Fridman, and then you do a collaboration with Kazam and like Kazam. I don't know what you call him, but everyone knows who he is. He's the microservices joke guy. Which I didn't know he was from Michigan, which is interesting because I grew up in Upper Michigan for a bit. Yeah, you just wonder if things are gonna change, and not in the best ways, but we'll see. He still seems to love coding. He still seems to hate AI, and so that's important. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Galactus guy. Exactly. You know who I'm talking about. It's just bonkers to me. Again, it's like really strange. Like, it's kind of like I had a friend, I had a college buddy who was a drummer, and we worked in the tutoring center together. And a few years later, we reconnected, and he worked for Google, and he was also like partnered on Twitch. His handle was Floop. He kind of vanished. I don't know what happened to him. It was really just outlandish to talk to him later and be like, "That's right, you've had like famous streamers come on your stream and stuff," and just kind of a weird idea. Like, these people seemed so unattainable, and then it kind of felt I'm not friends with Prime, but just this idea, it's like, what in the world? Like, Prime is just like the goofy dev guy. Like, and now when to see him on Lex Fridman, it just breaks my brain. I've come to the realization recently that I work for projects where we have more containers than clients. Really? Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So I need some sort of force on this. So I need to understand in Godot. How do we apply force to this? Just make it drop. We just need to make it drop. So we're gonna go off to Google here, and to should we say gravity in Godot? We need to figure out how to get global gravity from GDScript. Okay. So we're gonna do some learning with some Googling. To access the project's gravity value in Godot using GDScript, you can use the project settings object. For 2D objects, the gravity vector can be retrieved using the following code. This is retrieving. So there's a gravity vector in Godot. Oh, let's read this little Reddit post. It's a Godot noob here. That's me too. Sorry in advance for any boneheadness. Is there any way I can get dark mode here? Thank you. My gosh, mine eyes being burned out of my sockets. Okay, so is it simple enough to interact with gravity settings and project settings, or wondering if Godot only uses these values at runtime or set up the world rather than during runtime? Onion says, then again, I'm also part of projects that are being used by 500,000 users. Well, there you go. So it's not always about the number of clients, right? Like, sometimes it's about the impact on that small number, or the impact on the world, even if a lot of people, like the current thing I'm assigned to at work, very few people use, but the impact is like nationwide in the US at least. And so it's like this idea, like, yeah, only a few people use this, but it affects a lot of people. Let's see. Is there some world or physics direct space state property I should be using instead of modifying gravity during runtime? I didn't see any such property. Let's see. I think we're looking for is this or this. I think we might have to go straight to Godot because I might get bogged down in this. Yeah, small projects are for a good cause in a large scale, but the industry is not ready yet to settle on the type of system. Being so cryptic. I have to be cryptic too, unfortunately, because how I'm contracted. So what I just want to be able to apply force to an object. Let's just go into the Godot documentation and find it. Here we go. List of features. 2D physics. So I think I just want to apply like gravity to it just to make it drop. And then I'm gonna have either like spacebar or something make it go up and push back against the gravity. Static bodies, animatable bodies. The client is public knowledge, but I am trying not to dox. Sure, I totally understand. Don't worry. Because there are probably 3 companies who do this stuff in my part of the world. Okay, yeah, it's okay. I don't blame you. Like I said, if there's like one word I could say, I would be basically quasi-doxing myself too. In the US, it is a national thing, and very few people use it, but it affects all of us. Before that, I was working on something that almost everyone has to use. But the federal government offers a way to do it, but you can also use other companies to do it. But ultimately, they're the ones that the U.S. federal government is the ones that do the logistical stuff for. So, we don't need to move objects. We just need to apply gravity to it. We don't need to draw. Maybe I'm not saying the right thing. But the ultimate client is the EU itself. The ultimate client. Ultimate client. Earlier, Frightful was here, and he was tried to do Boomer Tester in like cutesy voice, but I read it with this Boomeru Testaru. Boomeru Testaru. Ultimate client is a US offensive act. Real-time lightings. I don't need this jazz. I basically just need to apply gravity. Sure that Adam's not here. Like, Adam, how I apply gravity to object. This is how we learn, right? I thought it'd be 2D physics. Like, we just need the thing to constantly have a force upon it until it just goes down and then hits a floor. Like, there needs to be a floor too to that. Basically, that might be easier. So it might be easier to say when this hits this object, like the force needs to stop. I mean, this is part of the learning of being a Godot noob and really a game design noob. So I don't need to render anything. I would think that'd be 2D physics. Parallax layers, we don't necessarily need that yet. We will. This is too like general. Can I get into? Oh, this is just a list of features. Sorry. Apologies. Gravity applied to each particle. I want gravity. Yeah, damping. Damping applies friction to the particles, forcing them to stop. Scale. What if we just need an object just to drop until it hits something? It's not really emission. It's not really particles. We just need gravity to push an object down. I didn't think it'd be this hard to figure this out. Yes, initial velocity. We just need an object to like fall. We need just one object to fall. I don't really need particles though. That's why I wonder if this is the... Who thought this would be this hard? Maybe we'll do some digging. Let's look at physics. Inherit. There's this thing called gravity. Magnets. How do they work? Miracle. I don't know. I don't know if you know the Insane Clown Posse meme with that. Gravity. How does it work? Miracles. I find the whole concept of Insane Clown Posse and like whatever Hatchet. What are they called? What are people that are into Insane Clown Posse called? Oh my gosh, you don't know about. Hold on. We got to sidetrack. Weaponize our autism here. It's like magnets. How do they work? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the miracles. Hopefully there's not like anything unsafe for work here. Yeah, 10 years of miracles. The horrorcore rap duo Insane Clown Posse commemorated the 3-disc nuclear edition of blah blah blah. They're gonna say anything about the so the song's called Miracles, but in there's like a line about magnets. How do they work? I fed a fish to a pelican at Frisco Bay. I tried to eat my cell phone. He ran away. The song runs through other miracles, including hereditary genetics, the pyramids, giraffes, and rainbows. All of these things represent, as Shaggy 2 Dope puts it, pure mother effing magic. Miracles was propelled online by the novelty of its visual and its wide-eyed sincerity about the mundane, which its audience read ironically. The reaction to that video was sort of insane. It was sort of the dawn of YouTube, I believe. It had like 15 million hits. YouTube had been around for a few years at the point, plenty of viral hits, but Miracles was a sea change. It was a watershed moment for the internet culture. It's like... this is amazing. I do love that like idea of like, magnets. How do they work? It's a miracle. No, it's not a miracle. There's a really good video. Crap, it's the professor from Tolarian College, and it's that Kyle, science Kyle guy. They're talking about magnetism and how actually magnetism is like how kind of everything around you works. Like the idea that the reason your hand doesn't go through a table because there's cells in your hand. Actually, you're in a very small way. Magnetism works against your hand as these two hands or your hand collides with the table. The reason you don't just like go through those is because the cells are actually being repelled. It's magnetic. The fact that it's like pushing against them. I'm not just gonna phase through that table, right? Is actually because of magnetism. And my brain was kind of like, I felt like maybe I'm stupid. I didn't pay enough attention in college or something. I was like, really? Is that how everything works? It's a miracle. That's some math cheese. Have you ever stood next to an elephant, my friend? The elephant is a miracle. People can't see a miracle in an effing elephant. Then life must suck for them because the elephant is an effing miracle. So is a giraffe. Oh, man. Yeah, I think that's magnets. How do they work? Got passed around so much as just a weird thing to say that it was very topical at the time. Mike was super into them. So we got lucky enough to make that weird video. Hard part was we're both rap fans and we wanted to rap good, but the whole point is, it's supposed to be funny. Magnets. How do they work? Juggalos. Oh my gosh, that's the word I was trying to remember. It's a juggalo. It's like someone who's a fan of Insane Club. But anyways, this does relate because we need to figure out gravity and we need to figure out how this miracle works to get our game to work. If we can't get this to work, we're in trouble. So I'm guessing it has something to do with initial velocity. Like we need to apply initial velocity so it just goes down, and then the resistance to that velocity is going to be the player interacting. I didn't think it'd be this complicated. But it's mostly complicated as I'm not versed in Godot, and this is how I'm going to learn. This property is only useful for 3D particles. See, they're talking about particles here as if, yeah, this is a particle process material 2D. I need gravity just applied to an object. Process materials properties. Okay. How about I just have an object that's falling? I feel like what I need to do is so simple that it's not. I won't worry about collision yet. How do I get the thing to drop? Tangential acceleration. This feels like this is far beyond anything I actually need to do. And this is 3D. I'm in 2D. You take that back. Walnuts are wonderful. They actually are kind of terrible, but they're really good for you, unfortunately. They are quite good for you. Alright, we're running out of time to get this one stinking aspect to work. Oh my gosh. Adam, I need help. Adam, help me. How weird would it be? Let's see, is he streaming? Either they just don't taste like anything or my cover. Oh, Adam is streaming. How embarrassing. Collaborate, just bother him. Now I can eat. Now I bet I can eat nuts. Okay, were you allergic to them before? I'm not gonna bother Adam right now. Help me, I don't understand how to apply force. Oh, I'm so tempted to ask him for help. Help me, master. So, the collaboration thing, does that only come up if they follow you? Like, is that how that works? So, like, Adam's probably following me, and Corey Fayas is following me, and so that we could collaborate. I could not. I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't harass Adam that way. I've been allergic to nuts all my life, but like 2 years ago, my allergy test said no reaction, so I've started to eat them. Nice. I've heard about people like microdosing things they're allergic to that are safe. So I had a friend whose child was allergic to peanut butter, but they wanted to eat like a Reese's peanut butter cup for like their birthday. And so like all year, the parents were like just microdosing them peanut butter and just monitoring them. So it was during a time they could monitor their child. And by their birthday, they were able to eat one and they were totally fine. And they had everything ready, like a EpiPen and stuff, just in case they went into like shock or something. But I mean, they were really allergic, and then just slowly microdosed themselves on peanut butter, and they grew. I mean, maybe it only works for children. I'm also allergic to hairy animals, but I was able to live with 2 cats after 5 months or so of allergy medication. Oh yeah, well, that's the thing too. You can just take some Benadryl if it's not like a huge negative interaction. So I wonder if I'm just not phrasing this right. I want an object to have force. And that's probably way too specific. Like we want to apply force on this object so it constantly wants to drop. I did not think it would be this hard. I am getting to the point where I'm starting to think I'm going to go to ChatGPT. That's when you know you're getting bad. To apply constant downward force to an object, you can use the physics engine and built-in methods. For example, you can simulate gravity by adding a constant acceleration to the object's velocity. This is typically done using the formula where gravity is the downward acceleration and delta is the time step. They'll accelerate and decelerate based on these factors. If you achieve a constant speed, you might need to override the integrate forces callback to the velocity directly while considering external forces. The move and slide method to handle movement and collisions, which can help maintain a consistent speed while accounting for physics influences. If you're working on character body 3D, you might need to apply forces directly. I'm using 2D. In summary, applying constant downward force in Godot is using the physics engine methods to adjust the object velocity considering factors like gravity and external forces. The exact approach may vary depending on whether you're using rigid body. I don't know. I know I'm at least using 2D. Uncle Chat Jips. This is way more complicated than I anticipated. Hold on, let me blow my dang allergy-ridden nose. Speaking of allergies. Ugh. Okay, so much better. Uncle Jips. We might have to ask Uncle Jips for some help. Well, let's see. So it's not gonna be a transform. It's gonna be physics. So it's just inheritor on. Do I need to write a script? Like I need a little bit of hand holding here to at least get I just want this thing to constantly be forced down for now. Well, hey, we can save. We have something on this in the scene. I'm pretty sure if we hit play, nothing happens. Why does it say unsaved? Save scene. Oh gosh. Sure. Do we have a typical bouncy ball tutorial somewhere? I think they do. I think they do. I'm pretty sure I actually went through it too, and sadly I don't remember nothing. Yeah. That's kind of how I did Unity for a little bit, and that's how Unity was. It's like scene. Like, why wouldn't you call them levels or views or I don't know. The script settings window you can container ready and process function. If I need a script, do I need to start one? Oh boy. This feels like this should be quicker. Oh gosh. Okay, setting up the project. Should look like this. Possible art fonts. How does our I don't even know where our project is saved. I'm guessing it's in developer. Where did it say that? You know, I don't even know where it's saving stuff. Hold on. Where is it even saving it? Like, where's this? Yeah. You're on my home? No! It should be in developer. I wonder if I have to close this. Oh boy. Do I have to fully quit? Ah, humbug. Oh, it's how I'm finna gonna learn, that's for sure. How do you just close a quit your project list? Did I break it? Oh, did it just blow away? Okay. You're not gonna be very happy with me because I want this to be in developer. Where did it go? Oh boy. Did it not go in here? Am I just blind? For reals, am I blind? I am fumbling around a lot here. I just don't want it on my home directory. Well, let me guess, this is, yeah, it's not accessible. We'll just remove it. I mean, we may have to completely start from scratch. Oh gosh. I mean, it's, as far as I can tell, it's completely gone. It's fine. It's not like we had tons of stuff done. Okay, it definitely exists somewhere. Where is this? Okay. Why don't I see it here? Am I blind? I am. It says it's here, but it's not. I feel crazy. Sure. Okay. This is the one that's supposed to be the best one for doing what I want to do. Supposedly that folder is in here. When I type in the words... and I go to properties, it says it's in developer. Or did it go a folder down? Yes, it got dumped in the wrong folder. Flippin' A. Ugh. Sometimes I hate technology. Sometimes I flippin' hate it. How did it get put in here? Here, get out of here. Go here. Ugh. Bah humbug. This is not a good start. Yes, here. Bork, bork, bork. Okay, we're back to at least where we started. And this is the scene. I'm guessing that's this, right? We've got this, we got this. I'm not going to care about directory structure. I don't give a flying fart. Tried to streamline so much I've turned into a simpleton, and over 10 buttons is too much. I don't blame you. This honestly annoys me. Like, I already feel like, why is it so hard to get this going? Okay. I'm not going to download your asset. I just want to figure out how the heck to apply force to that object. We need to choose a root node for the player object. What does that mean? As a general rule, a scene's root node should reflect the object's desired functionality. While the object is in the upper left corner in the scene tab, click the other node button, add an area 2D node to the scene. Okay, I'm gonna have to put this over here. So I want to go scene. We kind of have, isn't that what this is? And what's this borking about? The root node of a scene is recommended to not be transformed. Since instances of the scene will usually override this, reset the transform and reload the scene to remove this warning. What? Oh my gosh. Here, let's rename this too. We're gonna call this what would we call this? It's basically, it's the object that the player is going to interact with. It's like the token, or sure. Just so I know it, I'm assuming when I click on this, it's this scene. Like if I were to close this and then reopen this, this would be the scene, and this object is something on the scene, right? Where we need to apply the gravity to. Let's see. Let's try to, there we go. Then I at least have it over here, and y'all don't have to like try to see both. So I think we technically already have a node. Yeah, we do. We have a node. Do we rename this then, since give it more we'll just call it area 2D. But that doesn't change it up here. Are they not the same thing? Oh gosh. What is this now then? It's a sprite? I thought So is this like an instance of this? Oh, I didn't think it'd be this hard to apply gravity to a 2D just like graphical object. Because I'm assuming this is like the whole scene. Like if I close this, I open this back up, yeah, I'm back here. This must be an instance of this Flapeagen bird, okay? It's like an instance of this SVG on this scene. How I'm understanding this. Good golly. So would gravity be configured on the scene, or would gravity be configured on the actual like token object? This is a 2D sprite, right? See, what's interesting is in the tutorial. Meh. Okay, I'll do what they're gonna say. Oh boy. Create root node. Is this my root node now? Is that the problem? Is that what it's borking about? It's not the root node of the scene. So... oh boy. Oh boy, this is great. So we'll go to the other node. Okay. When you add the area 2D node, Godot will display the following warning icon next to it. This node has no shape, not collide or interact with their objects. This warning tells us the area 2D node requires shape to detect collisions. We can ignore this warning temporarily because we will first set up the player's visuals. Once the visuals are ready, we'll add a collision shape as a child. This will allow us to accurately size and position the shape based on the sprite's appearance. With Area 2D, we can detect objects that overlap or run into the player. Change the node's name to player. Double clicking on it. Wait. So am I creating like the space that they play on, or am I creating the object that they interact with? Like, and am I patient enough to do this? So the area, the scene is okay. Here's where I'm getting confused. We'll start from the beginning. I'm gonna delete some more stuff because yeah, we'll delete this against my better judgment. Okay, we're gonna like follow this tutorial slavishly, full on dum-dum mode. Okay. Full on dumb idiot mode. Okay, because we're running out of time anyways. If I can get like, I guess I'm not understanding the concept of their objects, like their scenes. Can they teach me what a scene is before having me create one? Like, a scene is this. With the project settings placed, we can start working on the player controlled character. This first scene will define the player object. Okay, and that's what I want. That's my Flapeagen bird. To begin, we need to choose a root node for the player object. As a general rule, a scene's root node should not reflect the object's desired functionality. What does that mean? What the object is. Upper left corner in the scene tab, click the other node and add area 2D. Okay, that's what we're going to do. I'm guessing 2D. It's like in the tutorial, they don't have 10 million options, but I do. Okay, so it's a collision object 2D. That'd be nice to know in the tutorial for us dum-dums. There, I have a thing. When you add the area 2D node, Godot will display the following warning icon. Yeah, it is borking at me. There's no shape. It cannot collide or interact with other objects. Consider adding as child to define its shape. This warning tells us that the Area 2D node requires a shape to detect collisions overlap. We can ignore that warning temporarily because we will first set up the player's visuals using an animated sprite. Once the visuals are ready, we will add a collision shape as a child node. Okay, so I'm guessing that will be the Flapeagen bird SVG. I'm guessing. Once the visuals are ready, we'll add collision shape as a child. With Area 2D, we can detect objects, overlap, or run into the player. Change the node's name to player by double-clicking on it. Fine. We want to make sure you don't accidentally move or resize them by clicking on them. Select the node and click the icon to the right of the lock. Boy, oh boy. So that's this one. The tooltip says group the selected node with its children. This causes the parent to be selected when a child node is clicked in 2D and preview. Sure. I don't understand what that means. I don't like tutorials that have me do things, but don't at least give me like baby's first video game explanation of what I'm doing. I feel like this needs to be tuned for people that are much more stupid like me. This assumes a lot of like base level intelligence, apparently. Save the scene as player.tscn. So go to scene, save scene, or Control S. Well, it didn't do that because I think it just saved it. It didn't even give me a chance to change its name. Rename it. So we're gonna call it. So is the node the scene or the scene that, like, wait, I don't understand, like, What is the difference between these two things? Are they the same thing? Because when I renamed this one, it didn't rename this one, like, and vice versa. It was kind of, I don't know. I feel like you need like a really big time dummies guide to this. Like, you're really dumb. For this project, we'll be following Godot naming conventions. Classes use Pascal case, variables and functions use snake case, and constants use all caps. So, what is this? Is this a class? I'm guessing it's a scene. Okay. Sprite animation. Gosh, I hope we can like get some answers. Click on the player node and add a child node. I think this is going to be our actual Flapeagen. Okay. Animated 2D sprite. The animated 2D sprite will handle the appearance and animations of our player. Notice that there is a warning symbol, of course, because there's constant warning symbols in this. I feel like it's just like one of those bad, either I'm incompetent or it's like a bad UX thing where when you create something, it shouldn't have warnings right away. It should, whatever those warnings are, to generate the object, I feel like it should have you fulfill those, like, it should have you squash those warnings during the moment of creation. Say, you created this, you need this now, and so you can't progress. This thing is not at least partially baked, so you have this thing. It's weird to me to create it, and then throw like this terrible looking warning. I don't know. That's just click on the player node. Yeah, we did that. An animated sprite 2D requires sprite frames resource, which is a list of the animations it can display. Make sure animated sprite 2D is selected, and then find the sprite frames property from the animation section. Click empty. So where is that? Under animation. We ain't got no animation. So where is that? There is a warning symbol. Yes, 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 yes. Make sure selected, which it is. Boop. And then find the sprite frames property under animation section in the inspector. This inspector. Oh, animation's right there. I'm blind. New. We need new sprite frames. Okay. Click the sprite frames you just created. Open the sprite frames panel. This one? On the left is a list of animations. Click the default one. Rename it to walk. Well, we're not going to do that because we don't do walk. But we'll call this one idle. Like, there's really, or we'll call this one upright. Because we're going to have it be upright. It's going to drop. And then it's going to, there's going to be 3 animations. There's really going to be, so anyway, we'll call this default. There's default, there's up, and there's down. It's really that simple, right? And you click add animation. Where's that button? Here. Yeah, there's really gonna be 3 here. There's gonna be up and there's gonna be down. And I might have to go make them. You know, to open up GIMP, just dip the head. I would hope I'd be able to transform them. The default, do we just drop it in here? Yeah. So that's like our default state. Then down is going to be, can we modify this at all? I have to make one pointing down. Shouldn't I be able to animate this without... This seems strange. Like, wouldn't I be able to modify... Like, wouldn't I be able to... Maybe we'll just... You know what? We'll just have one state for now. Because what's weird to me, I have this SVG. Why would I need to go and create separate SVGs? I should have one SVG and then be able to transform it. That seems odd. Like, why wouldn't I be able to dip? I don't know. And that's the problem following a tutorial that's not doing the thing you're doing. We're gonna have one. We're gonna have one for now, and we'll finagle, fadaddle, and frangle with it later. Ugh. Bah humbug. Okay, so I'm guessing that's like outside the field of play, but whatever. Who cares? Player images are a bit too large for the game windows. We need to scale them down. Click on the animate sprite 2D. Where was that again? Oh. No, it's this one. Click there. Set the scale property. Where's that? I see frame. What's that under? Set the scale property 0.5.5. You can find it in the inspector under node 2D setting. Don't see it. Is it here? The FPS is frame duration. I don't think it's going to be an offset. The speed scale. I think I'm just not seeing it. Find it in the inspector under the node 2D heading. Okay, we'll do point. We're gonna shrink Prime's head. There we go. Probably still too big for Flappy Bird. We'll do like 25% of that. We're really gonna shrink Prime's head. There we go. That seems more appropriate. So I'm guessing we want this guy to be right about here. Right. Okay. All right. Player images, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now finally add a collision-shaped 2D as a child of player. This will determine the player's hitbox or the bounds of its collision area for this character. Capsule-shaped best fit. So just so we're gonna add a child node. Gonna be collision shop. Ta-da. Is there a little something I missed there when I edited that SVG? Nah, that'll be okay. So how do we do this? Capsule would be Capsule. Yo, what's up, first polar rays? Welcome. I'm trying to struggle my way through this. Oh no. How do I get back to modifying that? Trying to develop. Is there a way? That collision is a little too large. We'll have some false collisions. Is there a way to rotate this a little bit? Is that just the wrong shape? Because circle's a little like I need to be able to trim this without losing the other parts. Because what I'd like is this to be a little tighter. Let's see. We'll figure it out. This is what learning Gida is about. Just trying to figure it out. New boundary. No, oh my gosh, not one game per day. That'd be madness. I'm going to take as long as it takes on this each game, but I'm doing the 20 games challenge. First one's going to be Flappy Bird. I'm doing a Primeagen Flappy Bird clone. That'd be insane. I would go insane. But my other focus, because my main focus of this channel is software testing, I also want to experiment with writing tests using, I think it's called Gut, is the unit testing framework for Godot. So for each game I create, I'm also going to write tests for it, or try to, as like an experiment and just learn along with folks that hang out. So but yeah, once a day would be insane in the membrane. I'd probably lose my mind completely. I'm barely even just getting the collision. It was hard to get to this point following a tutorial. What I'd like to do is tighten this. But I don't know how to rotate, if this rotates at all. It's kind of too big. Maybe I need to quit, because the most important collision is top to bottom. So it might be okay, honestly, since it's Flappy Bird. It's really about that bottom and top collision, so this might be fine. Man, I feel like Prime's judging me. Yeah, developing a game a day would be totally crazy. I think if you were, or if I was already proficient at Godot, which I'm not, I'm a Godot beginner. And so, if I was like proficient at Godot, that'd be kind of cool to do. Like, but I'm not proficient at Godot at all. The opposite of proficient. Unproficient. Nega in if proficient. Whichever one of those is. But yeah, my main thing is like the main thrust is I like video games. I've always wanted to. I've tinkered with it. I've really been inspired by Adam Learns Live. He's actually streaming now. He's actually a great resource for learning about dev. He's developing the game.
You're a boomer.
Seller.
No, I'm not.
Thank you for the follow as well. And I apologize if I pronounce your username wrong, but thank you for the follow. It's greatly appreciated. But he is developing the game. He's developing the game Seller, which you can go and wishlist right now, and you'll be helping him out. But Adam is an awesome resource on game development, and it's really inspired me to try this because there's a game I want to develop. He suggested developing some clones first to kind of get my feet wet instead of trying to make the game I want to make right off the bat and probably very likely fail it. But Adam's awesome. He's streaming right now. He's more entertaining than me. Well, he's just better at this. He's just so much better at this, and he's a super kind soul. So I'd highly suggest checking out Adam as well. And wishlisting Seller, which you can play the demo, which I've streamed it in the past. Actually, yesterday I streamed it on stream, but it's an idle light game, which just means there's decisions to make, but the game will basically run itself. But you continue to make decisions and pick perks, send your adventurers out. You just have to try the game out. It's actually quite cool. If you're a fan of like retro inspired like pixel art games, then you'll probably like and it's kind of got something for everyone. I feel like unless you're like a hardcore FPS or hardcore horror fighting game aficionado, if you're just a fan of games, there's something there for everybody. Like, I enjoy the game, and I can imagine my wife actually enjoying it quite a bit too, because she likes those kind of casual games just at the end of the night, like our kids are in bed and we just want to like veg. Unfortunately, I play things like Bloodborne for some reason and make myself ticked off. I've been playing that lately at night. But most of the time I want something casual, and Seller is like perfect for that. It's just I keep hitting the cap. I've already hit all the content in the demo. So it's like I play it up until that, and it's like, I want more. So, but yeah, Adam really inspired me to kind of go after this, because I had an idea for a game, for an idle-like game. But before making it, I really wanted to get my feet wet. So this is me now struggling to make a Flappy Bird clone. I think I'm fine with the collision, though. I think I'm going to live with this. This is going to be my collision box for my Primeagen head, my Flapeagen head. And I got a little confused about the animation. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to like provide it animation frames. Like, why can't I manipulate this SVG? That's kind of my thought too. But if you're still there, Polarize. Do you do any game development or software development? My day job, I'm a software development engineer and test. And so it's interesting to see there's other developers. Okay, we added our shape. When you're finished, your player scene will look like this. Yes, it does. It looks like that. Once this is done, the warning on the Area 2D node will disappear. It hasn't yet. As now it has a shape assigned. Do I just need to click done maybe? Or save? Or because it's still borking at me. Why? Reset the transform and reload the scene to remove this warning. What do you mean reset the transform? Is it because I moved this? How do I reset the transform? Oh gosh. Well, that, hey, it stopped barking at me. So maybe the movement of that object I'm not supposed to tinker with that way. I don't know. I'm still kind of... I am confused. Make sure to save, and the next part will add a script to the player node to move and animate it. Then we'll set up collision detection to know when the player got hit by something. Oh my gosh, my allergies. So then we'll go next. Coding the player. In this lesson, we'll add player movement animation setup to detect collisions. To do so, we need to add some functionality that we can't get from a built-in node, so we'll need to add a script. Click the player node and click attach script. Okay. In the script settings window, you can leave the default settings alone. Just click create. Okay. I understand a little English, although the truth is that since I work in the development area, I understood quite a bit of what you said. I would like to develop video games, but I only make web pages. I'm full stack. Nice. Oh, it's awesome. And my English isn't great, so I'll probably make it more confusing if it's not your first language. If you don't mind sharing, what is your like first language? If you don't want to share, you don't have. Leave me alone. Start by detecting the member variables this object will need. Okay. So we already got extends. Now. Bar speed. Oh, Espanol. So I have like not even grade school level Espanol. But weirdly enough, my wife is part German, but she's also part Dominican and Puerto Rican. So her mother, so my mother-in-law speaks fluent Espanol. And her abuela, who is no longer with us, also used to. She was first generation, I think, from Dominican Republic in the U.S. So it was like her abuela immigrated here to the U.S. from Dominican Republic, and then obviously had her mother, and her mother had had my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, obviously, and we got married. And it's funny, I think I know more Spanish than my wife, though. I wish I was fluent. I would love to be able to, like, I know, like, all the baby basic stuff, like, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Or buenos días. The most like, ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Marcos. It's literally like the first thing they teach you when you grow up in the U.S. and it's like the first stuff they teach you in your like grade school Spanish class, and that's as far as like my know. Like, ¿Dónde está la baño? The stuff you need if you're in a Spanish speaking country and you're like, I need to go to the bathroom. Where's el baño? Oh, thanks. I mean, my mother-in-law's fantastic. She has such great Spanish. I mean, she speaks fluent English too, but she has great Spanish. But the only thing is sometimes there's like words in the Dominican apparently that aren't in, or they mean something else. Like the word for plantain, I think her mother was getting wrong, and it meant something else. It meant an appendage. But yeah, I mean, it's like the basics. Like, I know how to ask for chicken, like con pollo. When we go out, because we have this, one of my favorite places here is actually the Mexican food restaurant, and it's like my favorite place to eat. My kids don't like it, but I'm always like, con pollo, por favor. Burrito con pollo. Sí. I hope my sons learn Espanol, because their abuela speaks such fluent, and then their auntie also speaks fluent Espanol, and so fries with chicken. Por favor. You have to say it in a deep voice, like you're in a telenovela or something. And I also I spent time in South America quite a bit, and had a lot of people I worked with that were actually from South America, and so I picked up like some swear words too from some of the guys I worked with at the grocery store and some of the guys I used to do roofing. And those guys could swear. They taught me some great swear words, which I'm not going to say. So using export keyword on the first variable speed allows us to set its value in the inspector. This can be handy for values that you want to be able to adjust, like nodes built-in properties. Click on the player node and you'll see the property now appears in the inspector. It does. All right, I blow my nose again. I'm sorry. Pollen count just must be so high today. My allergies are just killing me. Okay. Using C#, you need to rebuild the project. I'm using GD script. Your player GD script should already contain ready and process function. It doesn't. So we're gonna need to write that. Oops, I was thinking about React because I work in React. Okay. The ready function is called when the node enters the scene tree, which is a good time to find the size of the game window. Okay. Now we can use the process function to define what the player will do. Process is called every frame, so we'll use it to update elements of our game, which we expect will change often. For the player, we need the following: check for input, move in the given direction, play the appropriate animation. So in this case, they are coding a game where we can move around. We only want to go up. So let's see. First, we need to check for input. Players pressing a key for this game. We have 4 directions. No, we have 1 direction in our game. It's up. We go up and we go up. Input actions are defined in the project settings under input map. Is it this pickable? Okay. So that's under project setting. Okay. This is a weird place. Filter by name. So we want to add one, right? Click on the input map tab at the top. Type move right. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to... We'll just call this flap. Because that's all you're doing. You're flapping. You're flapping. We need to assign a key to this action. Click the plus icon on the right side to open the event manager window. Okay. So really, that'd be the left mouse. All devices. Can we add can we bind multiple keys? Because what if we also just want spacebar? Papas fritas. Papas fritas, por favor. Which, honestly, papas fritas and hamburguesa from like a food cart in the South in the U.S. Oh, you don't understand how good hamburguesas can be if you haven't had one from a food cart in like South Texas. It's a different life experience. It's not the same. I didn't realize, like, food, yeah, from the food truck. Like, I know it's questionable, but for real, like, when I used to be, fast food is better. And I think if you find the right food trucks, I mean, I don't know. Some of them in South Texas are pretty good in the U.S. But yeah, like there's some hamburguesas. I mean, they were made right there on the flat top. So I don't know if it's like your typical food truck, but like they just had a deep fryer for papas fritas, and then they would just flat top grill hamburguesas, and then whatever you wanted. I don't think the gentleman spoke any English, but he knew like all the toppings. And you'd be like 3, 4, you know, how many hamburguesas you want? Because we would bring a bunch of guys from the construction site that we were working on, or whatever house we were doing renovations on, or if we were roofing or whatever. We could get a bunch of really, really good. So we can add multiple. Let's do a space bar too. Really, it can be anything. Or space bar. Insert, delete, pause, backspace, back tab, enter, tab. Where's just good old fashioned space? Home and I mean, we can have it be the up key too. Sure. But there's only gonna be one control in this game. I just want to make sure there's plenty of ways to do this. I'm surprised spacebar is just not right there. Volume up, volume down. Weird, because I want them to be able to just hit the spacebar if they want to for jumping, but I guess clicking will be fine. Brace, BR. Interesting. Whoops. Space. There we go. Yeah, just a space key. No, go eat. It was really nice talking to you, Polar Race. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm sorry. I wish I was more fluent in Espanol. Maybe this will force me to get better at Espanol. Maybe I'll practice. Like you could come on and I'll practice. I'll try to communicate. No, I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out. I'll probably be at this for another, I don't know, like maybe 15-20 minutes because I've been streaming for a while. But yeah, it's nice hanging out. And go wishlist Skeleseller on Steam. You go on to Steam and you click the wishlist button on Skeleseller. You'd make Adam so happy, and you'd be doing me a favor if you have Steam. Or get a Steam account, install it. You don't have to actually. You would be doing me a favor. So yeah, now we got a couple different ways we can go up. Left mouse button. I think these are all good for flapping. Listening for, so which one's that? Dead zone. So what is the listening for input field should be automatically selected. Pressing the right key on your keyboard and the menu should look like this now. I don't have any games in Steam, but maybe I will someday after I get a couple of my clones done. And I'll probably be putting these clones, I'll be posting these on like itch.io or something so people can tinker around with them. But I'm not cool enough. I have friends that have games in Steam, like Diluvian Ultra. Where's this? Can I just do... hold on. Yeah, you'd be doing me a huge favor to wishlist my friend's game. You'd make him so happy. And then if you went to his stream and told him that I harassed you until you did it. But yeah. This is Skeleseller. Just driving me bonkers. Skeleseller is a lot of fun. Okay, so we need to assign a key to this action, which I've already done that. Select OK. The right key is now associated with move right, which we're not doing. Yeah, we only need one. We just need to flap. Click the close button. Process. So we need a process function. Function, process. Right, bar. Velocity equals vector 2.0. So that's the this will be interesting to apply that constant force. Will be really hard to do. Do we need to do if statements if it's our only if input is action best flap. So we're gonna steal their up. which is going to be minus equals 1. So that's going to be our flap, but we don't have the opposing force. We need like a constant state of gravity. So, oh, okay. Hold on. I think I'm going to figure this out. Because in the GD script, there's like an if statement for the velocity. Where if it's greater than 0, I think it's moving the sprite around. And then I think the else we're going to want to apply that constant force to it somehow. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, and now this will make sense when I actually put it. Fortunately, I have to leave this off screen just so this is all visible. Velocity dot length greater than 0, right? It's basically, I think this is to give it normalized speed. Then that's it. Animated sprite. 2D. Play. I think that's so that the sprite will like have animation. I don't think that'll actually be a problem for us. But right? Yeah. Yeah. We start by setting velocity to 0 by default. Where is that done? Don't see that. Where did we set that? By default, the player should not be moving. Then we check, do we want them to actually constantly move? Then we check each input and add subtract from velocity to update in total direction. For example, if you hold right and down at the same time, the resulting velocity will be 1, 1. In this case, since we're adding horizontal and vertical movement, the player would move faster diagonally than if it just moved horizontally. We can prevent that if we normalize the velocity, which means we set its length to 1, then multiply the desired speed. This means no more fast diagonal movement. We check whether the player is moving so we can play or stop an animated 2D sprite. Now that we have movement direction, we can update the player's position. We can use clamp to prevent it from leaving the screen. Clamping means we're sticking to a given range. Add the following to the bottom of process function to make sure it's not indented under else. Okay. We have position. I think there's some of the stuff we're definitely going to have to modify to get constant movement. Because they're trying to create like a traditional game. But it will be good to clamp it to make sure it doesn't go habitually. I'm going to add that. Vector 2, 0. Screen size. Okay. We're going to save. This run current scene. There's a run current scene button. Yeah, we want to test this out. If I just hit play. Did it just crash? Invalid type in function clamp in base vector 2 cannot convert argument 2 from nil to vector. Okay. What line is that at? 2, 1. Player.gd 2, 1. Yeah, it doesn't like something about the code here. Allergies. Okay. Vector 2. So what doesn't it like about this? No. Invalid type in function clamp. In base vector 2. Not convert argument 2 from nil to vector 2. What does that mean? Oh gosh. That stack trace won't even open the game, right? No? Failure. So it's not even accepting our input. Yeah. Okay, well. That's a problem. Let's see if those are errors. Okay. Invalid type and function clamp. We're gonna Google this because I don't understand this enough yet to understand that error. In base vector 2 cannot convert argument 2 from nil to vector 2. What does that mean? Second argument passed to the clamp function is nil instead of vector 2. This typically happens if the variable intended to hold the clamp range is not properly initialized or set to nil somewhere in the code. In Godot, the clamp function for vector 2 requires 2 arguments, the value to clamp and the minimum and maximum bounds. For example, for both min and max are vector 2 instances. If any of these arguments are nil, the error will occur. Okay. So they suggest doing this. Try that. Oh gosh. So expected identifier after dot for attribute access. Oh boy, we're having fun. Oh, okay, I see. We're having fun in the old town tonight. Save all. Now is that gonna hot reload? Hold on here. Do we need to restart this? Try that again. Invalid type and function clamp and base vector 2 cannot. Okay, we're back. We've gone back in a circle. We're getting screen size already. Back in read. Well, this is fun. We're almost out of time anyway. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm going to start asking ChatGPT for help. Because I just don't have the knowledge. Because this is really what they originally asked me to do. I swear, these allergies. And I get something to render, but it still borks at me. Okay. So we're going to do this. Oh no, we need the air. Let's see, how do we want to... I swear these allergies make me crazy. I'm gonna try to give it lots of context. I forgot. And code. We're going to give it this code, and we're going to give it the error. causing the following error. And then we're going to give it the error. I'm going to have to hand type it because I can't copy that darn tune error. Or exception, excuse me. Invalid type in function. Lamp in base vector 2 cannot convert argument 2 from nil to vector 2. That still doesn't fully make sense to me. Can you please help me troubleshoot this exception? Means screen size is currently null. Nil in GD script. So position is failing because clamp expects both arguments to be vector 2 values. Okay. Make sure screen size is initialized before this line of code is run. The tutorial screen size is typically set in the ready function, and it is. Oh. That says read, not ready. Human error. Ah, success. But our commands are not working. Unexpected indent in class body. Wonder where that is. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, it jucked everything up. So, for some reason, this is interesting. When I'm
Being
here,
a boomer must be hell.
What? What do you want? I'm at a meter regaming, Metri Gaming. Thank you for the follow. Looks like on Kick. No, thank you for the follow over there. I am trying to develop a Flappy Bird clone as part of the 20 games challenge in Godot, and I'm completely new to Godot. And I'm sorry, Meet Marie Gaming. MRE Gaming? Sorry. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm Turkish, sorry. Thanks. And I think Kick is like primarily Turkish users, isn't it? So I'm in Turkish territory. But no, I apologize. That I can't pronounce it. My terrible English boilerplate. I'm good. I mean, I'm struggling making this game, but you know, and struggling to light a candle too. But I'm a software engineer in test, and I'm dabbling in game dev. So I'm going to be writing tests for this using Gut. But are you into game development at all? Or just an enjoyer of games? Oh, this isn't a game. This is a game editor. I'm trying to create a Flappy Bird clone. A clone of the game Flappy Bird. It's not working because it's not accepting my controls. That's what I can't figure out right now is why isn't it taking my controls in? I am, and it's not doing anything. Curses. Well, spacebar. Oh, you know Photoshop? Nice. Yeah, that's I actually went to school for part of my degrees in graphic design. I wish it would stop doing this. How do I now? If I go to close that, okay, it's not working at me. Why? What happened? No. This is really root player. Oh gosh, I'm confused about what happened now. Okay, there we go. We reopened that scene. You would know what an SVG is. Why is the debugger still running? I can't figure out why I'm not getting any movement. Okay. So this was good. It helped me. ChatGPT helped me. Check whether the player's moving so we can call play or stop on the animation. Why isn't this working? I'm not getting an error, but they're not moving around. My velocity is not changing. What's up? Abrolinium123 over on Kick. Not much, just trying to develop a Flappy Bird clone in Godot. I'm doing the 20 game challenge. Trying and failing right now to get my Flappy Bird to flap. Developing a game. Trying. Save all scenes. Why is it not flapping? I go in here. It's just not listening to my inputs. Yeah, it sees that I'm doing it, but it doesn't move. It doesn't move this. Is it because? I wonder if it's because it's already there. Ugh. And then it. Oh, that drives me crazy. This is going to keep jacking up my code. It's like, it's ignoring the inputs there. So I think what's happening. How do we get back to. They're not moving. How do we get back to. I want like the scene view. Not that, not that. 2D, here we go. Okay. I think it's gonna bark at me though if I move it here. Or maybe not. Okay, now it's not crabby. Let's try it again. Okay. Inputs. Hey! Our Flappy Bird's kind of flapping. Kind of. It's not listening to the spacebar, but it listens to the up key. That kind of works. A little clunky. Thanks. Okay. It's a little clunky, but it's kind of working. Sort of. Alright, we'll pause that. We'll close it. I have a feeling our... That's interesting. So it moved it, like, permanently. It's just very strange to me. I'm still not
Being a boomer must be hell.
Oh! Thanks for the follow. Abrolinium123. Appreciate it. Let's go back to our script. How did we get into our script? Is that .gd? Good. That's under script. Okay. I don't think it looks good so far. Okay. So it's still a little clunky. And we need the constant force applied to it. Like setting the velocity. So I wonder if we give this to ChatGPT and then see if it can give us a guess here. Here we go. Let's do this. We're gonna do a little cheating. I'll have to give it more context. So in case anyone's wondering, I am trying to use ChatGPT to expedite some parts of this because I have a feeling there's a way to add that velocity to it. I'm going to ask, I am creating a Flappy Bird clone. How would you, by following GD script, I should say, giving it full context is always helpful in Godot. How would you modify so that there is a constant force pushing the 2D sprite down. Ask it how I can make money. We'll give it the code here. We actually shift boobity. Shift just so it doesn't. There we go. Try that. Hey, it actually did the code correctly. Oh shoot, it left my comment in as the code. Simulate constant downward force. Flappy bird clone using Godot, you need to add gravity vector that constantly increases the bird's downward velocity. Allow flap input to apply an instant upward velocity, not horizontal. Simulate velocity over time in process or physics process. Okay. Here's the modified script with gravity. So I want to understand all the pieces here. So we need like a gravity variable. So they've got a gravity variable. Then we've got a flap strength. Interesting. Okay, negative is upward. We've got velocity, which is vector 2. Okay. So let's kind of break this out piece by piece. So extend. So you don't use speed anymore, it looks like. Because you've got kind of a flap strength instead. So that's where we're going to change some things. We're going to need gravity instead. Oh yeah, we're going to need... Oh, there we go. Flap strength equals... Oh, it's mad at me right now. Pixels per second, or per second squared. Negative, upward. We are still going to need screen size. So we're like, I think we're resetting the velocity there when we initialize it. Okay, so now velocity is cranky. So we're setting it up top. So ready function is going to stay the same. Process function is going to change. We need to apply gravity. Yep. Okay, so the velocity, that's like the y vector of the 2D sprite. So then we're gonna need, I think most of this code's gonna be gone. Flap input applies upward force. So yeah, a lot of this stuff. Okay, we might as well just, we're just gonna blow this away. We're rewriting this anyways. If input is action, just press, whoops, flap. Man, who thought that Flappy Bird was easy to write? Flap strength, which we defined earlier. What is it mad about? What is it angry about right now? It doesn't like gravity, for one. It's really cranky about gravity. If input is input's supposed to be capital, that might be that part of his crankiness. I didn't know. Gravity, what is it crappy about gravity? Redefined original native class area 2D. So we'll have to figure out how to make that crankiness go in a second after we, let's see. And when we want to play animation, Unity. Well, Unity is an engine. I have worked with Unity before. Yeah, I'm aware of Unity engine. I have a friend who develops an Unreal, develops a game called Diluvian Ultra. Yeah, I've taken a Unity course before. I like Godot a little better because it's designed for 2D games primarily. I know a little bit of Unity. It's been a very long time. I haven't used. All right, do you develop in Unity? Right. Okay, so this is this is interesting. Animated. I remember that Unity is in C#.net. I remember. Then we're gonna want to move the player. There's gonna be position plus velocity times delta. No. A little bit of pixel art. Yeah. I've done some pixel art in the past. Have I finished the game? No. 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 This is literally my first attempt at my first earnest attempt at game development. My day job, I'm a software engineer and test. I write tests, automated testing for software platforms and applications. Then we need to clamp to the screen bounds here, so we don't want our bird going outside of the screen bounds. Join your team? I don't know. I guess I'd have to know what the game. Because sadly, I have a day job too. This is just hobby. So it's still crappy about gravity. So velocity is no longer reset every frame. Instead, it persists as modified by gravity and flapping. Okay, good. Velocity.y plus equals gravity times delta simulates constant downward pull. So this line, this is our gravity, right? It's like this constant pull that's going to happen on our bird. But we can, we can talk for sure. Do you have like a Discord or anything? I apologize. English is my only language. I do not speak or read Turkish, though I'm always willing to learn anything. So that this line is our constant velocity. This simulates our downward pull, right? Then this gives a burst upward when the player flaps. Horizontal velocity is removed. Flappy Bird doesn't move left or right, or the world scrolls instead, right? Let me figure out why this is happening. Okay, let me copy pasta this. No. Goy. Yes, I understand. Can I? I'm trying to figure out how this is happening. Yes. Since Air 2D has already built-in property in gravity, so you're not allowed to redefine it in your script. Just rename your gravity variable something like gravity force. Okay, so it's like a protected value. So we'd have to rename it everywhere. Okay, so we're defining like our own. Anywhere else that gets used? Any type of music? I appreciate it. If you have like a portfolio, you can send it. I'm actually I actually went to school for music production for like about 2 years, and I still do music production as a hobby on the side too. But what DAW do you use? I use Ableton Live. I'd be curious to hear what DAW you use, like if you use Ableton or Logic or Fruity Loop Studio. Or do we have another place where we reference gravity here? Okay, let's save this. We're gonna see if this works. I think the bird's just gonna fall. Oh gosh, he's gone. Okay. Oh, nice. It's working. Yes. Yes. Success. We're flapping. Great success. Okay, so no, this is awesome. Because now we just need. Will spacebar work though? Yeah, I know Fruity Loop Studio. I'm familiar with it. I use Ableton Live. Because most of the stuff I do is for live application. But I use it to just produce general music. But yeah, Fruity Loop Studio is good. Good DAW. I also use Reaper. Oh, this is great. So we just need when the prime head hits the bottom. This makes me so happy. Yes, yes. Okay, this is perfect, and that's about the. I just wish his head would like go up, like tip or something as it's falling. But still, this is huge. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. I know. He's flying. He's alive. Oh, this makes me so happy. Okay, so now he's alive. So now we just need a floor. Yeah, we need a floor here. And we need when the bird hits the floor, we need to what are we going to use as a floor? Okay. That's great. Let's do, here we go. Let's look for, because this is prime. Well, I'm trying to go with like, because this is for the Primeagen, who's like a developer streamer. I want something. Oh my gosh, this could be our columns. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that should be our columns. So okay. I got this. So it's gonna say press. It's gonna say press. Tap. It's gonna say tap to flap, but it's gonna look like the Vim editor. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to get inspired. And then the columns are gonna be those like tilde, those blue tildes. Oh my gosh, we got this. But we need this terrible purple screen too. Okay, we need this purple screen. Or it's kind of like plum. Is this plum colored? Is a plum colored screen? But the floor is gonna be. Yeah, we could do something like this. Like have the word floor. Right? Okay. I think I got this. So that's gonna be. We need like this terrible plum colored background. I'm inspired. Let's Where's that first one we were looking at? I want this one. So I'm going to save these. They're WebPs. I can screenshot them. Suck it. I just need them for reference. I need that ugly plum color. Yep, that. And then I want this one for reference, which I'll just screenshot it as well. Yep. Boom. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have those tildes be... We need this plum colored background. We're going to have the tildes be the columns that Prime's going to have to go through. Then at the bottom, it's going to say press or click to flap and have that little box that's like the where the console ending. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so where does that go? Where do you put background images in Godot? Well, baby steps. Baby step. We're gonna have... Maybe we create... Hold on. Let's just look it up. We'll duplicate this window so we don't lose our spot in the tutorial. Yes. I guess it'd technically be a parallax. Let's read up on parallax. Yeah, this is what I need to do. Okay, parallax. Parallax time. Okay. Parallax node supports adding nodes that render things as children, so you can use one or more nodes to make up each layer. Begin, place each node or nodes you want. Okay. So I'm gonna need, I'm basically gonna need like, I'm gonna need a node, a child node of the, but it's not gonna be the player, right? This is where, we need a completely new node here. I think it is a new node that's on this scene. This is where things get advanced. This is what we want, essentially. I think we need a completely new node. It's not any of this stuff. We just create a parallax background? Parallax background uses one or more parallax layer child nodes to create a parallax effect. Each parallax layer can move at a different speed. This creates an illusion of depth in a 3D game. If not used with, you must manually calculate the scroll offset. I'm not sure this is what we want to do. I'm way over time too. I need to go to my day job. Let's see. The scene above uses one prepared texture for the higher clouds in a Sprite 2D. But you could just easily add multiple nodes spaced out to compose the layer. Oh, that's beautiful. Provides bonus effects that gives textures the illusion of repeating infinitely. And that's kind of what we want, right? Like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. I think I just need to simply have a floor first, though. I think we'll create a floor and we need collision, and when it hits the floor, the game needs to end. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. That floor is gonna be this. It's gonna say visual line, and it's gonna have dots across. And just that terrible plum color is gonna be the background. I think we need a whole new node here. Just don't know what kind of node. I'm assuming it's like just another node 2D. Or is it a canvas layer? Health bar overlays are background. Okay, so maybe I'm just creating a canvas layer. No. It needs to be apparent though. So maybe, hold on. We need to close. Oh boy. Save all scenes. Here we go. And we need to close this. Yes. We don't want a scene. We just want another node. Maybe we'll follow the tutorial. I feel like I should quit soon. Yeah, let's take a break. I need to get back to my day job. I've been doing this too long. If I had anyone watching me on Twitch, I'd raid somebody. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you to everyone that's been hanging out during this very extended time. I had more fun once I finally figured things out, and I actually got the bird to flap, which is pretty cool. I'll be back Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Convert that to your time zone if need be, if you wanted to hang out with me. But yeah, Monday we may get back into testing stuff, or I may keep digging into this. I don't know. But it's going to either be game dev or it's going to be software testing things. If something pops up in my radar, I'm going to do that. But do I have anyone? If anyone's watching me on Twitch, then I will raid Adam if Adam's still going. Let's see. I have a feeling no one's watching me on Twitch right now. And so like raiding him would be pointless and insulting. The one, yeah, it's just wasted this time. But so we'll do this again. If I had anyone watching, this is where I would send you. I would send you to Adam's channel. Adam's also on YouTube, but he's not on Kick. But you can go on YouTube or Twitch, and yeah, you can go, because Adam's really a big part inspired me getting into game dev. But yeah, thanks to anyone who's hanging out. If you're watching this later, this is a very extended stream. I'm hoping that the first part gets put into a YouTube video about automation assistance and software testing. But I'll be back Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Thanks so much. Later.